everyone. Coach Tiffany here. Um, I am really enjoying fall. I hope you all are too. If you are hopping on, say hello to us, and maybe just say one thing you love about fall, or don't love, I guess, if you really don't love the season. But if you can find any good in it. I'm in Portland, and Portland fall is a pretty beautiful time. The leaves are gorgeous and changing, and we have so many trees that um, yeah, it just is so beautiful, orange and yellows and reds. So anyway, today I want to talk about the Rachel Hollis 90-day challenge. So I actually was asked to teach the food portion of it in a group, and I had to decline. And it's sad because I don't want to miss out on the fun, and I think that the spirit of it is really cool. But I wanted to share my thoughts about it here because I think so often we are told to take things away, right? And in particular, in this challenge, well, I'll read you a little bit about the challenge, and then I'll go into my kind of opinion about it and talk about other options. Like I've written in the title, self-reflection and additive goals. So hers is 5 to thrive. So one is get up an hour earlier than you normally do and use that time for yourself. Two is work out at least 30 minutes. Three is drink half your body weight in ounces of water each day. Four is give up a food category you know you shouldn't be eating. And five is write down 10 things you're grateful for every day. So an interesting thing is I actually do a couple of these already, actually several of them. But what I don't love about the challenge, so what I do love about the challenge, first of all, I read her book. I enjoyed it. I don't necessarily feel like it's the whole picture, but she has a pretty good way of like inspiring people, but also um, being, kind of like encouraging to put on your big girl panties, so to speak, right? And sometimes we need that, right? Sometimes we need real talk, and we need somebody to just say, like, quit complaining or whatever it is. So in some ways I really liked her book. In other ways I felt like there were parts of it that were short-sighted. And unfortunately I don't think it talked about value and worth enough. And I think she's had a pretty unique experience in life that doesn't necessarily account for some of the challenges that other people face. Although, she's had her own challenges, but we have to take into account that not everyone has all of the same resources that we do or all of the same experiences. So anyway, so yeah, her books, I enjoyed it. Check it out if you want, if you haven't already. Yes, so back to the challenge. So the idea of the challenge is that you spend the last 90 days of the year with the same intentionality that you do with the first 30 days of the year. And I feel like a lot of us set intentions or goals. I don't actually set resolutions anymore. I set intentions. And I have a way of keeping track of that. I review them regularly and see how I am on track and what are the things I need to do to be on track with my goals. But I think, or with my intentions, and then under my intentions, there's kind of this these tasky things that need to be done, right? So one of the goal for me is always working to improve my relationship with food, of course. And so one of my intentions is, of course, making my health my number one priority. And under that intention is all kinds of different things. So, getting more movement, right? Enjoyable, pleasurable movement in my life. Eating more nutritiously sometimes might be a goal. Getting more vegetables in, being more mindful when I'm eating. So under that category, being more mindful when I'm eating, I had to give up eating in front of TV, which I will admit was in bed, right? So like I have a TV downstairs. I don't eat very often while watching TV down there. If I am, it's like, having a snack while watching a movie, and I actually think that's okay. But it's not like a daily thing versus watching TV in my bed at night, sometimes eating dinner even in bed, right? So that was so not working for me. It's also not it's not in alignment with my belief system, but also, I want to be completely transparent, and I want to be walking my talk fully. So that was one thing that I was like, oh, this is not serving me, and I need to let go of it. So, I had literally listed in my quarterly goals, like to move the TV out of the bedroom. And we did that. We just reevaluated last night whether it was better or not. And we were both like, yeah, I kind of miss it sometimes. Especially now I'm having some like leg pain, and that's making me have like some back pain. And it would have been lovely to lay in bed and watch TV last night. But, it wasn't serving me well in terms of getting optimal sleep, and it wasn't serving me well in terms of my relationship with food. So I got rid of that, right? So anyway, the point is that many of us have intentions, resolutions, goals at the beginning of the year, and we're super motivated to do it, and then it kind of falls off because we don't have that accountability throughout the year. So the spirit of this 90-day challenge, I love this idea that just because it's the end of the year doesn't mean we should give up on our whatever our goals are. And I totally agree with that. And it's kind of a way to revive your energy, right? Unfortunately, these blanket statements just don't work for everyone. So, if you are doing it because it's a should, because it's part of the challenge, it's an external locus of control. And you will likely not be able to succeed. Or if you don't succeed, you may feel like a failure, which sets us up for a shame spiral and makes us give up, right? Rather than setting goals that are realistic for us, that are based on self-reflection, and that are something that serves us well. So if you're somebody who has a baby and you're getting 4 hours of sleep a night, and then you decide you need to get up an hour earlier every day just because of this challenge, that's not going to probably serve you well, because if you are lacking sleep, your cortisol is going to go up. You're going to have a harder time handling stress, which we all know. Well, anybody who's had a baby, and many of those who haven't, who's observed friends or family who have had newborns, getting less sleep and therefore having more stress or not being able to handle stress as well is actually, really, it's important to be able to tolerate stress, because newborns are stressful, right? Or little children are stressful. Life is stressful with the little children usually. So yeah, so you really need to consider your own stage in life and what your own needs are. For me personally, my children are now grown. As they were getting older, I followed the Miracle Morning plan to get up an hour earlier and spend that hour. And now I don't. Now I work swing shift at the hospital, and actually I'm leaving my job. I'm so excited to just be doing this full time. But I will be, still not I don't have somewhere I have to be at like 6 a.m. And when I, have been working swing shift, geez Louise, this thing. Okay, sorry. I have this antivirus software that really wants me to renew. It's always popping up on my screen. So anyway, the point is that, for me, it's great for my life. I get up an hour early, I meditate, I journal, I do visualizations and affirmations and some exercise. And all of these things I do every day. And it's wonderful. It serves me really well. And it really sets the stage for making changes in my life. It's enabled me to do all kinds of things that I didn't feel like I'd be able to do. But it's honoring of my stage in life, right? So if you have a situation where you're going to be lacking in sleep because you woke up earlier, I don't think that that's ideal. Now, going to bed an hour earlier, especially if you have little kids, to go to bed and then you want to stay up watching Netflix or whatever, or hanging out with your spouse, or eating or whatever it is, right? But actually you're really tired. Going to bed an hour earlier might be an awesome way to finish out the year, in a way to really support your health and wellness given your circumstances, right? Number 2 is work out for at least 30 minutes. Okay, so moving our bodies is a great idea, and many of us don't have any injuries or any reasons that we can't work out. Working out for 30 minutes, for at least 30 minutes every day, that may or may not be optimal for some people. For some people, just getting to the gym 3 times a week is a great goal. For some people, maybe they do have an injury, so doing yoga, like a restorative yoga practice twice a week, might be the ideal fit. For some people, getting 20-minute walk every day is their goal. So be realistic, I guess, in doing that self-reflection piece first is what's really important. So I don't love the blanket statements with this, right? So it didn't say like, and of course she's trying to make it very simplified, right? So I'm not necessarily criticizing her, just the idea of plans that are created out here that cause us to feel that we should do something a certain way or we have to do it a certain way to be successful, right? All right, next one is drink half your body weight in ounces of water every day. So, it's a pretty benign one. It's a good idea to drink more water in general. Some of us drink plenty of water already. Um, for some people, if you start drinking a tremendous amount of water, you actually might not feel well, might reduce the sodium, your sodium in your body. You might actually feel kind of crummy. So if you're going to do this, be careful with it. Watch, see how you feel. Maybe gradually work up to it. And for some people, you might need more salt intake along with it or other electrolytes. So just be mindful of that. And then the next one is give up a food category you shouldn't be eating. So this is why I couldn't participate in the women running the challenge. They wanted me to help them run the challenge because first of all, I don't agree that we should blanket restrict food. I don't believe that any food is bad inherently. Each person's physiology is different. So each person needs different nutrients and each person will respond differently to different foods. Now, in the case of someone like me, I have done elimination diets and I have an autoimmune condition, and I've discovered that gluten and eggs cause me pain and inflammation in my body, and they aggravate my autoimmune condition. So I do avoid gluten and I do avoid eggs, but I don't say I can't have them. And I definitely don't restrict them for a period of time because someone else says you should avoid or you should, quit eating that, right? And especially this 90 days, it's the holidays. So I think for many people, it's a time of celebration, and we do use food as part of our celebration. So if you decide, okay, I'm going to cut out sugar for the next 90 days, how are you going to feel when you're baking cookies with your family at Christmas time and you can't taste it? For me, I do sometimes bake gluten flour, wheat flour cookies for my family because something I've been doing for a really long time. And I feel a little sad that I can't have that cookie. There's definitely not a gluten-free cookie out there that tastes the same, but I know it's not worth the pain that it's going to cause me. However, if I decided I wasn't going to eat it because I should give it up because this 90-day challenge tells me I should, right? I'm either going to just feel sad that I missed out on that celebratory food, or I'm going to eat it and then beat myself up, right? So yeah, so I have a real problem with this idea of that, you should give up. Like there's some shame around that. There's some shoulds around that. And I think that they're just trying to be sassy. But many people do already have, many people do have a food intolerance that they are struggling to quit eating. But again, for me, it was a really natural thing. I discovered that when I eat gluten, it does cause this pain. I still was sometimes eating it. And then when I learned that it was going to actually cause my antibodies, potentially, this was my doctor told me this, it could increase my antibodies, which are, things that normally our bodies use to like attack like the flu or, other bugs that invade our systems. But my antibodies are attacking my own body. So I'm going to be attacking myself more for up to 3 months after I consume gluten, even just once. So knowing that, and then knowing how I feel when I don't eat it, and knowing how I feel when I do eat it, naturally I was able to let go of eating gluten. So, if you have an intolerance and you're struggling with letting it go, it's a good idea to talk to a medical professional. Reach out to me, reach out to a naturopath or an integrative physician, functional medicine physician, and talk with them about maybe some other things that can help you let it go, and maybe some of the things that it is causing in your system. Also, it's important to be able to experiment and know for sure, is this food really causing what the symptoms I think that it's causing. And sometimes when we give up something like gluten, we're also giving up all kinds of other processed foods. So it might actually be, some other issue that your body's having, not necessarily gluten in its purest form, right? So it could be lectins, it could be, palm oil, could be hydrogenated oil, it could be sugar, cane sugar, it could be all kinds of things. So Yeah, so make sure you actually know, A, that you in particular should be avoiding a particular food, and B, oh, sorry, I think that makes it harder to hear me. And B, that you are really ready to let go of that food because it's no longer worth it for you, not that you're trying to control something that you think is bad or that you're trying to control something because someone else says that you should, especially during the holidays, right? All right, so then the last one is write down 10 things you're grateful for every day. Oh, I love this one. I don't think that this could harm anyone. I actually do this as part of my miracle morning routine. We're encouraged to journal. Oh, geez, my hair is just really something else today. Encouraging us to journal, and I, as part of my journaling practice, write at the end of journaling 10 things I'm grateful for every day. One thing I did that was really fun, if you're feeling uninspired about writing, maybe you write the same 10 things every day. When I was bored with that, I actually changed it up and I wrote 10 things that start with an A that I was grateful for. And then the next day, 10 things that start with a B that I'm grateful for. I definitely had to do some looking up. And I think with X, I might have cheated if it had X in the word, it counted. Whatever. Anyway, so you could do 10 things I'm grateful for outside, or 10 things that 10 people I'm grateful for, or 10 things in my home that I'm grateful for. So I'm grateful for my office. I love it in here. I'm grateful for my coffee mug that my daughter got me. It says mom, and it's giant. She knows me well. It's actually tea, but still I need a lot of it. um, I'm grateful for my slippers and my bed, and I'm grateful for my spouse, right? So you get the idea. These things are all things in my home. I'm really grateful for my home. So anyway, so that's, I think, an excellent practice. So, if you wanted to do the 90-day challenge, you could potentially just choose that one and a few others, or modify like one plus the gratitude list or whatever it is. Instead of having this expectation, you need to do all of these things. Because that's another issue I have with it, is that that's a lot. If you aren't doing those things, that's a lot to incorporate. Like 30 minutes of exercise, an hour of getting up an hour earlier and spending that time on yourself only, drinking all this water, giving up a food group, which means if you give up an entire food, a food group is probably what a lot of people are doing. You'll have to replace that with something. So what are you going to eat, right? Like what are you going to eat when you're having one of those days where you just have like back-to-back appointments and you're hungry? You have to have a plan. The gratitude in that takes like 3 seconds. And you could even easily get an accountability partner that you text your gratitude list to, and they text back. And how wonderful would that be? So that's my feeling about the 90-day challenge. I hope that this coaching session will inspire you to look at and do some self-reflection. So, what do I mean by self-reflection? So as I was kind of talking through the list, the 90-day challenge list, I did touch on this. So really looking at, what are your overarching goals? Is your goal to be happy? Is your goal to have energy and stamina? Is your goal to feel well so that you can, spend more time outside? Is your goal to feel strong? What's your goal with your health and your wellness? And what are some things that you know or you could do, like reflect on, what could I do that would be a realistic thing for me to do that will really help? So perhaps you're battling a lot of stress and you know that the holidays are going to be extra stressful, right? So you might decide, okay, I'm going to incorporate deep breathing exercises into my life 3 times a day. That's something that only takes a few minutes, and it actually supports your health goal, and it's additive. So rather than I'm going to take something away, I'm not going to do this anymore, X, Y, or Z, it's adding something positive to your life. And it helps reduce your cortisol level, which then in turn will oftentimes help reduce cravings. It's wonderful. So do some self-reflective practices. Spend some time reflecting on what is important to you and are things that you can do that you will be successful at, and that will get you closer to your goal, rather than, okay, this person says I should do this thing out here and I'm just going to do it, and then failing at it, or struggling to do it and beating yourself up and feeling bad and giving up and then eating all the Christmas cookies. So other additive goals that a lot of clients of mine tend to be, sorry, I'm so distracted by my hair. Other clients of mine tend to be interested in doing or choose to do. And gosh, I don't think anybody's hopped on today. Hmm. I'm out here all by myself. Anyway, if you do hop on or you watch the replay, please drop a comment, say hello to us, let me know where you're at. And I think at the beginning I asked you to say something about what do you like about fall. But at this point, you could also post something about what are your overarching health goals and or what is one thing you're doing to move closer to wellness. Recommit maybe to doing that if you've lost track of it. So anyway, another additive goal, a lot of times people will do is just simply getting in more vegetables. So if you're already eating about 2 cups of vegetables a day, you could say, okay, my goal is to get 3 cups in every day or 3 servings of vegetables, right? If you're not eating any vegetables,